Hello and welcome to Rise Unwind Orlando. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week, my friends and I talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
I put my own kind of Tiffy twist on it, if you will, and I try and do it better than anybody else has ever done it, or prettier, if you will. So like my moonsault, for instance, my swanton, stuff like that. I try and add like a little, flair onto it.
I loved getting to learn about sleep paralysis because that's something I've actually experienced before and I didn't know it existed until we did a segment on it. And I'm constantly getting to learn things as the host of the show and also just meeting all these incredible women in STEM. A good example would be Kat Echezarreta. She's the first Mexican-born woman to ever go to space, and she's around my age, and getting to meet her, I was just so inspired by her.
The problem with fear, sometimes fear is a useful emotion because it can keep us out of truly, life-ending or life-threatening danger. But fear does not always tell us the truth. Sometimes it tells us to avoid things that wouldn't hurt us and that might even help us to grow, that we might enjoy, and that might help us learn. And so we need to get better at learning when to ignore our fear.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind Orlando. October means more than pumpkin spice. It's also PSAT season. For millions of students, this test is a big milestone that can unlock scholarships, college connections, and even career insights. So joining us today is Priscilla Rodriguez, Senior Vice President of College Readiness Assessments at the College Board, to explain why PSAT matters. So let's welcome her to the show. Priscilla, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right, for families who may not be familiar, what exactly is PSAT or NMSQT, and why is it such a big deal for students?
So we're talking at a really important time of year for students. Every October, millions of 10th and 11th grade students across the country take a test in their school called the PSAT NMSQT. A lot of letters, but it's one test. It's only 2 hours long, and it stands for Preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. And we really want to encourage students and families to think about it as more than just a test. It's really an opportunity and a tool that comes right when the student is about halfway through high school that can give a great indication of what the student has learned in reading, writing, and math so far, and what the areas are that they should practice and focus on going forward. It can also indicate students who are well-suited or well-prepared to take AP or advanced placement classes. Those are those classes in high schools that often give students college credit, saving them time and money later. And importantly, the PSAT NMSQT connects students to $300 million in scholarship opportunities every single year, including the big National Merit Scholarship and Recognition Program. This is the only test students can use to qualify for that.
So when the scores come back, what can students actually learn from their reports?
So students' scores and a score report come back to them just a few weeks after test day. And they're going to get their score, which is comprised of two section scores. There's a reading, writing section and a math section. And those scores, indicate how they did. But just as importantly, we give an indication of how they did on the skills inside of those two sections. That's what they can use to really start talking with their teachers about areas of real strength and areas that they want to make sure they're really focusing and growing in over the rest of high school. In addition, on that score report, they get connected to a wealth of free resources we offer at College Board called Big Future. And underneath Big Future are a set of tools that include a scholarship search tool. There's a lot of money out there for families and students to use for college. A college search tool. What are you looking for in a college? What could be a great fit? And a career search tool based on how you did, the skills you demonstrated on the PSAT or SAT, and your interests. What are career fields that could be of real interest to the student so they can start having conversations and exploring that well before they graduate from high school.
So how does the PSAT help students get ready for the SAT?
The PSAT NMSQT is great practice for the SAT, and that's really on purpose. Students take it about 6 to 12 months before they take the SAT, and it's designed to mirror the SAT. Same length, same section, same question type, same skills. So it's great practice and preparation in a lower stakes, earlier way, so students feel comfortable when the SAT comes around. And to make sure that students really do feel calm and confident on test day, whether it's for the PSATs or the SAT, we offer a bunch of free practice. So 2 things I'll mention quickly. One is on the Blue Book app that students actually take these tests on. If they download that app in advance, we have free full-length practice tests there. They can simulate test day. the same tools in the app and the same questions and the same timing. And they'll get scores back from that practice test that indicate to them what areas they should focus on. They can then do skill-focused practice and learning over with our partners on Khan Academy, bring that learning back to a practice test, and feel more ready for test day.
And beyond test prep, how does this exam tie into things like scholarships, colleges, or even career planning?
Yeah, we really think about the PSAT and MSQT as a door opener for students. You get a score, but it's not a judgment, it's a measure, and then all these doors can open up for you. So on the score report and on a bunch of resources we connect them to afterwards, we really try to help them understand where their strengths are and where their areas for opportunity are, and how that connects to colleges that could be a great fit, career paths they maybe aren't aware of that are growing and could really draw upon skills they have. And then, of course, critically connecting them to scholarship programs that are out there looking for students like them who have money to help make college possible for American families.
All right, Priscilla, where can families go if they want more information or even resources?
Yeah, the best place for students and families to go is psat.org.
Well, thank you for joining me today, Priscilla.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Ever feel like your energy bills creep up every winter? Well, there's a way to fight back and even earn a tax credit for making your home more efficient. Right now, homeowners can save up to $3,200 with federal incentives, but time is running out. Joining me today is Sarah Riley, Senior Director at Front Door Incorporated, here to share how families can take advantage before the deadline and why a warranty keeps you covered after upgrades. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me.
For families who want these federal HVAC tax credits, what steps should they be taking right now before the deadline?
Yeah, these federal tax credits expire at the end of this year, so that deadline is fast approaching. So now is the time for families to make a plan for any of those energy efficient upgrades, especially thinking about your heating and AC systems. Those are some of the biggest energy users in your home. In order to qualify for the tax credit, those upgrades must be purchased and installed by the end of this year to qualify. And American Home Shield is here to help. So our AHS warranty members have access to the new HVAC program. This gives our members discounts on new name brand heating and air conditioning systems that are those newer, upgraded, high efficiency units to qualify them for those tax credits. A lot of times when you're trying to tackle upgrading your HVAC system, that cost can be anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 or even more. But because AHS is one of the largest players in this space, we operate nationwide, we have access to discounts that we can pass on to our members, saving them thousands of dollars. So being able to act now before the end of this year, combine those tax credit incentives with the thousands of dollars in savings from AHS, this is really the best opportunity to get homeowners in the best HVAC system for them.
So when it comes to these home repairs or upgrades, how do you know what's safe to DIY and when it's smarter to call in a pro?
Everyone has a different threshold for what they're willing to tackle DIY, but especially thinking about your HVAC system, there's a couple rules of thumb that I think can help homeowners do that gut check. If there is a sound that it will not stop, maybe there's a buzzing or a clicking, and maybe you've already tinkered to try to get it to stop and it just will not quit, that could be a sign of an underlying issue that it's time to call a professional. The other big one with HVAC is if you're smelling something, if there is especially a burning smell or that electrical smell, that could be an indication that there are wiring issues or, again, deeper underlying problems that a professional is really best suited to help you with.
Your app has a video chat option. How does that help homeowners solve problems faster?
We are so proud of this innovation that we launched this year for the AHS app. Our members now have access to video chat with an expert to help walk through home repair and maintenance questions in real time in their home. So it's extremely easy. Our members just download the AHS app and all you do is tap to connect with an expert, whether that's HVAC, for your appliances, plumbing, electrical, or even a handy person for questions outside of those categories. And again, live over video chat, that expert can walk you through your exact problem and the steps that it might take to fix it. We often see homeowners are able to fix the problem right there on the video chat with the guidance of an expert, or even learn the steps and the tools that they need to complete the fix themselves once the call is over. It's extremely empowering just to have that access in the palm of
your hands, all with an AHS warranty.
As our systems and appliances get older, why does a home warranty make sense?
A home warranty is a yearly protection plan that helps to cover your home systems and appliances for breakdowns that might happen due to normal wear and tear. So if you think about your HVAC, your plumbing, electrical systems, even your kitchen appliances, it's hard to know how old they are or what breakdown might happen later, again, just based on the age of that system or appliance, or as a result of normal wear and tear. So an American Home Shield warranty helps to come in and cover those repair costs when they happen to your covered appliances and systems. And it just helps to give that peace of mind to homeowners. You're not having to save, tens of thousands of dollars for just those what ifs. It helps to give that budget protection because unfortunately, things like these federal tax credits aren't around every time that you're needing to do an improvement or repair in your home.
So where's the best place for families who want to learn more about everything we've talked about today?
Absolutely. To learn more about home warranties, your coverage option, our new HVAC program, and that video chat with an expert feature, the best place to go is our website, ahs.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Do you ever wonder what it takes to spark the next generation of scientists and innovators? The Emmy-nominated series Mission Unstoppable is back for its 7th season on CBS, shining a spotlight on women breaking barriers in STEM, from space exploration to oceanography and beyond. Joining us are executive producers Miranda Cosgrove and Nicole Small to share what's new this season and why representation in science and technology matters more than ever. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good,
Thanks for having us.
All right, Miranda, what can fans expect in this brand new season of Mission Unstoppable?
There's a lot going on in our brand new 7th season, but I would say one of my favorite things is we follow a high school robotics team as they create this awesome robot, and then they actually take it and compete against other schools with it. So I just think that's super cool. I would have loved to have been a part of something like that in high school. And we also have one of our correspondents go to the University of Wisconsin to learn the science behind making cheese. So I think that one's pretty fun too. But you just never know what's going to come next on this show.
That's what's so fun, right? Whether it's robotics or cheese. And my favorite episode this upcoming season is actually about a pro soccer team. So we all love sports, and learning about the science behind what keeps the team on the field is a really, really fun episode this year. We follow Dallas Trinity FC and what we call the team behind the team. So you get to learn about all the things that it takes. So that's one of the things that I'm most excited about next season.
And after 7 seasons and more than 260 stories, is there a particular moment or guest that just has stuck with you?
There are so many. I loved getting to learn about sleep paralysis because that's something I've actually experienced before, and I didn't know it existed until we did a segment on it. And I'm constantly getting to learn things as the host of the show, and also just meeting all these incredible women in STEM. A good example would be Kat Echezarreta. She's the first Mexican-born woman to ever go to space, and she's around my age, and getting to meet her, I was just so inspired by her. So yeah, just getting to be a part of something like this, you're inspired all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing stories. I always say that's like asking me who my favorite kid is. You should never say that publicly, because you get in trouble for that. For me, I think it's like every day, because we have over 1.5 million followers on social at CBS Unstoppable. We get to hear from people every day. So there's stories about how they watched an episode and they didn't know that they could go into STEM and sports. They were passionate about music and they had an opportunity. They always wanted to be an astronaut. I feel like we're able to communicate with our viewers on such a daily basis and hear about the things that are inspiring them. We've had kids go to college and change their majors. And so, for us, it's about if you can see it, you can be it. And so for me, it's just about every one of those moments that is connecting with some kid somewhere that may grow up and cure cancer one day.
So how do you feel the show does encourage young women and girls to imagine themselves in STEM careers?
Well, like I said, I think if you can see it, you can be it, right? So I think that all kids everywhere, our effort with the show is to make sure that, every kid sees something that they can connect with, whether it's the city that we're filming in, whether it's the job, whether it's, like I said, whether you're interested in tech or sports or music or entertainment, or like I said, you want to go to the moon one day. We hope that you see somebody or something that you're interested in and you're able to connect with, and then you want to learn more about that, right? So we're trying to, I think, create curiosity in kids. So that's really the whole goal of the show.
Why is it so important for young audiences to actually see people represented in these fields on screen?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't have a show like this. So when I was first approached with the idea just for the very first season, I was so excited to get to be a part of something like this and be a part of bringing it to children. And I get to see firsthand kids come up to me all the time and they tell me they watch the show with their families on Saturday mornings and that, you know, oh, I saw that woman that creates makeup that's a chemist and now I want to do something like that. And yeah, it's just, I feel like the show does a very good job of showing a range of all different kinds of people and just so many incredible women. And yeah, I hope a kid out there sees an episode and maybe changes their future.
So where can families go to learn more about the show and some of the work that the philanthropies are doing to inspire the next generation?
Yeah, well, a couple things you can watch on CBS on Saturday mornings, so please do that. You can watch us on all of our social channels, particularly on YouTube, CBS Unstoppable. And If Then She Can is the initiative that's behind the show. So we hope that you'll join the 1.5 million other followers that we have that are so excited about the show, and tell your friends and family. And we hope everybody comes and has a great time with watching the episodes this season.
I want to thank you for joining me today. Catch Mission Unstoppable Saturday mornings on CBS. You'll meet some incredible women making discoveries, solving problems, and proving that the future of STEM is unstoppable. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you.
Do you ever wish you could train your body and brain to handle fear better? In Limitless, Live Better Now, Chris Hemsworth pushes past pain, fear, and risk, guided by experts who turn science into real tools you can use. Today, we have, from the Risk episode, neuroscientist Dr. Abigail Marsh and freestyle motocross legend Robbie Maddison, two people who know a thing or two about fear and focus. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you.
All right, in simple terms, what's happening in the brain when we avoid risk versus when we face it on purpose?
Oh, that's such a good question. The problem with fear, sometimes fear is a useful emotion because it can keep us out of truly, life-ending or life-threatening danger. But fear does not always tell us the truth. Sometimes it tells us to avoid things that wouldn't hurt us and that might even help us to grow, that we might enjoy, and that might help us learn. And so we need to get better at learning when to ignore our fear and push through and do the things that fear tells us not to do, because taking on positive risks, in Chris's case, climbing a 500-foot high wall in the Swiss Alps, can give us a sense of joy, can give us a sense of self-efficacy, and also resilience when tackling new risks in the future.
The episode explores exposure therapy and flow. What's a practical way viewers can safely practice those at home without a Swiss Alps climbing wall?
Well, if a Swiss Alps climbing wall isn't handy, there are lots of other ways to take on risks. The tricky thing is it's sort of personal to each person. So not everybody is afraid of the same thing. Some people aren't afraid of heights. I'm not one of those people. I'm glad that Chris climbed that wall instead of me. But for each one of us, it's important to pay attention to the things that scare you and that are inhibiting your life because you're avoiding doing things that might actually give you a sense of meaning and purpose and excitement and joy. And just identifying the things that scare you, and taking small steps one at a time to try to increase your ability to tackle that kind of challenge is really the thing to do.
Okay, I gotta make my list. I think it covers pretty much everything that scares me. Plus some names and Instagram accounts I could add to that list as well. Robbie, you've built a career in high stakes precision. How do you separate recklessness from calculated risk? And what's your mental checklist before like a big stunt?
Well, the edge of fear is where life gets interesting, and I really find that being in the present moment is my goal, because once you're that prefrontal cortex that Abby talks about turned off, and you're just focused on your technique and the physical things that are happening that might affect your outcome, you're really in this kind of focused state. And eventually, once action comes in, that's when flow state takes over. And life, I mean, it's just an interesting state of living, and it's not something that's achievable for massive long periods, but we're able to get to this point and function in a way where we're at our highest self, and it's but for me personally, I mean, fear is something I deal with every day, and it's just something that I deal with, and so it's how I challenge myself. It's what keeps me motivated and healthy and working hard and with a confident mindset and doing the right work behind the scenes, it gets you ready for match day. And so I don't recommend climbing the wall either. I would have wanted to do it myself, but I'm climbing my own walls, and it's about, this series is to show you how it works and then figure out what those walls are to you personally and go after just kind of taking small steps, because with growth comes happiness, and this is all about well-being and how we can better ourselves.
And for parents and coaches, how do we encourage healthy risk-taking in kids and teens without pushing them way too far?
It's important to, I think, help everybody remember, whether it's kids or adults, that taking on risks is often really fun. When we discover that we can do something that we didn't know how to do, it can give us an incredible sense of joy that we are more capable than that we knew that we could be. And so by shutting ourselves off from taking risks, we're also cutting ourselves off from a lot of thrills and excitement and joy. The nice thing is that kids' brains naturally push them to take risks if adults just get out of their way. Parents can sometimes hover a little too much and be a little bit too overprotective, but kids need to take risks in order to gain the skills that will allow them to develop and grow and learn. And really what adults need to do is sort of tap into that childlike state of being a little bit more by being deliberate about taking on new things.
And just to add, as a father of 3 boys who are following my footsteps, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with risk taking. And I do see other parents kind of putting their kids in unsafe situations. And they're essentially trying to mimic my kids who are doing backflips and doing all this stuff, but they're not seeing the behind the scenes work that goes into that and the small steps we take to get them ready for it. So there's a responsibility of, unsafe risk taking, and what Dr. Abigail talks about and what we do, and this is positive risk taking and the small steps, and Chris trains for these things. So with the right preparation, you can scale the highest mountains. No one climbs Everest by just walking there and climbing it. It's all about preparation. You got to get ready for every step of the way. So there's a lot of learning, a lot of growth here, but an incredible series. I binge watched the first one. I'm excited to be a part of series 2. And Chris is a great example of what it takes physically, mentally. There's a lot of education in this. It's a must watch for sure.
I want to thank you two for joining me today. Limitless, Live Better Now is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. Check out the Risk episode with Abigail Marsh and Robbie Maddison for simple, science-backed ways to build courage, focus, and resilience starting today. I want to thank you two for joining me.
Thank you so much. Fantastic day.
Ever wonder what it feels like to headline the biggest stage in sports entertainment? Yep, that's true. It's WrestleMania 42. It's on its way, and WWE's women's champion Tiffany Stratton is leading the charge. From gymnastics star to WWE superstar, she's known for the prettiest moonsault ever and for ushering in what fans call the prettiest era ever. And we got to welcome her to the show. Tiffany, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Your path from the U.S. national gymnastics teams to WWE champion, it's pretty incredible. When you look back, what do you think gave you the confidence to kind of make that leap?
That's a really good question. My mom actually had a lot to do with me kind of going into wrestling. She saw Charlotte Flair on our TV screen. We were kind of scrolling through the channels, and she was like, you can totally do something like that. Like, that's totally like what you do in gymnastics right now. And I was like, yeah, okay, Mom, I'm going to the Olympics. Like, stop it. I have to focus on gymnastics. And then eventually, that dream died, and I moved on from gymnastics, and I did CrossFit, I did bodybuilding, and I kind of just wanted to do something that was a little bit more competitive. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this wrestling stuff out, because I saw it was starting to get popular. I saw it on my Instagram. I saw it on Facebook and stuff like that. So I signed up at my nearest pro wrestling school, and it happened to be at Mr. Kennedy's pro wrestling school. And my mom then had a contact who knew Greg Gagne and had reached out to him. And he agreed to train me for a little bit, and he helped me get my tryout with WWE. And then eventually I tried out, and they signed me a week later, and here I am 4 years later, the WWE Women's Champion. I wrestled Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. I beat Trish Stratus, Nia Jax. So it's been a very successful 4 years.
And you've got like a very unique style in the ring. How'd you shape your persona and in-ring moves that fans now connect with Tiffy time?
So I think a lot of the moves that I do in the ring, I used to do when I was a gymnast. And I love to do moves that, people kind of already do, but I put my own kind of Tiffy twist on it, if you will. And I try and do it better than anybody else has ever done it, or prettier, if you will. So like my moonsault, for instance, my swanton, stuff like that. I try and add like a little, flair onto it. And I also try and make it look brutal and aggressive at the same time. So we're pretty in the ring, but we're also aggressive.
And last year, WrestleMania 41 shattered records in Las Vegas. Now WrestleMania 42 is set to return to Allegiant Stadium. How does it feel knowing you'll be part of that history?
So last year was actually my first ever WrestleMania. And that whole process was so exciting for me. It was nerve-wracking, but for it to be in Las Vegas was just so fun for me, because I feel like Vegas is just an iconic state. Like, I feel like it's the sports entertainment capital of the world. Everyone talks about Las Vegas and how entertaining it is. So to have my first ever WrestleMania there, again, Charlotte Flair, was such a dream come true. And now that we get to go back to Las Vegas, it's almost like nostalgic for me, because Vegas holds a special place in my heart since it was my first WrestleMania. So I'm super excited to go back. I feel like Vegas has something for everybody. We're going to have SmackDown there. We're going to have Raw there. We're going to have NXT there. There's going to be after parties, watch parties. And if you ever get bored of the wrestling, because there's going to be a lot of wrestling going on, you can literally find something to do on the Strip. So it's going to be such a fun weekend.
And you've already had huge moments, winning Money in the Bank, cashing in, becoming champion. What's been your biggest, pinch me moment so far in WWE?
My biggest pinch me moment, I feel like, was probably my WrestleMania match. Either that or cashing in and winning the title. I felt like that whole day was so stressful and exhilarating and exciting and nerve-wracking. And when I did cash in and I came out and I thought about it, then I pulled it away, and then I hit Naomi with the briefcase, and then Bianca hit her finish, and then I pulled Bianca out. It was just like so many ups and downs, and I was like, oh my god, am I gonna do this? Am I not gonna do this? And then finally I cashed in and I hit my moonsault, and that was kind of like the moment where I was like, holy crap, I just became champion in my first year of being on SmackDown. So that was probably the biggest pinch me moment of my career.
Tiffany Stratton, thanks for joining me today. WrestleMania 42 takes over Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium on April 18th and 19th in 2026. I know you got time, but 2-day combo tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster, so don't miss your chance to be part of WWE's biggest event of the year. Tiffany, thanks for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that's it for Rise Unwind Orlando. Want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, go to our website, riseunwindtv.com. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. And also follow our YouTube channel. That's at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.